the second half, you watch just all these high school, these like people just like fall in and ah! Oh, and I need to mute this. I'm like hearing my voice. Ah! Okay. So yeah, and that's what ended up happening was everyone just kept falling. Like we would just win because no one had endurance at air that thin. And so the plan was just don't be losing so badly by the end of the quarter or by the end of the first half that you couldn't make it up in the second half.
Nice. This is why a lot of endurance sports, especially cyclists,
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of weeks before a big race, like 2 or 3 weeks race, a lot of teams go to mountain training,
Mm-hmm.
not just to train climbing up a mountain, but to train endurance at high altitudes.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think in the early 2000s there were some Colombians who grew up in the Colombian mountains. They would just win stages because like I grew up there. My blood cells have so adapted to this. And by the time all the doping checks came up, they had to have a biological passport, like to see that their blood cell levels are consistently that high, and that it's not because of doping. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, so that does something to your to your physicality, or your internal physicality at least.
I should go live in the high mountains.
Yes, but also for other reasons. Like there's not a lot of people in the high mountains.
People. I love everyone who's on this watching this stream and playing, but I also could just not see other people. I'm okay with that too. But you're all lovely.
So I want to start a petition to
Move to the
change the
mountains.
national sport of the Netherlands from football or soccer to Vieljeppen.
Roller derby.
What?
No, Vieljeppen.
Feeling
Yeah,
up, feeling up.
feeling
What do you
up.
do?
Vieljeppen.
What do you do? What do you do in that? Feel up other people until they say stop.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, it's a Frisian word. Like for it's not even the dialect anymore. It's a separate language. But Friesland is one of our northern provinces, and it came from there. And it's basically uh, pole vaulting over ditches.
I'm in. I love bowling. Can we put spikes?
With water in them. So it's little creeks and stuff, and you just run, and you try to get either as far, you try to get as far as possible on the other side.
Yeah, and not get wet feet.
Oh, I've seen those videos. They're the best.
You climb up the pole, and then you.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of physics going on in that sport.
Speaking of poles, we have national championship pole sitting.
Yeah.
Like sitting atop a platform on a pole, and whoever holds out the longest, like for days mostly.
Do I
and
require? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like the stream is starting soon, so maybe we should stop these.
People can already hear us.
Yeah,
so.
people have already been able to hear us for like the last 5 minutes. So
No,
Yep.
this thing I have to verify that somehow I required that only people with verified accounts.
So which means you need to go and verify your account.
Oh wait, no, I can change that.
No, that's fine.
No, it's quite alright that only people with verified accounts can.
Yay!
I've done it. I've verified.
Yeah. No, the reason I put that, because I'm the reason that we have that, is because bots.
Oh, that's fair.
Yep.
No, that's fair. To
bots usually aren't verified, and therefore we are not spammed by people that we don't want. And
no, that's fine. I just was like, did I do that?
No, I did.
Oh, good.
You had no security at all, sir.
Yeah, security's for the weak.
No. Security is for the sane.
Yeah, are we ready to switch over
I
to
am
the actual
ready.
screen?
I'm
Let's
ready.
go. Let's go.
Yureen,
Lead
are
this
you calling
round.
us sane?
Kind of.
No.
I'm ready
Maybe.
to switch
Okay.
over.
Switching over now. Boom. Done.
Uh,
Hey, look at
Hello.
our faces.
I can't look at my own face.
Raz said that's context, Ben. Context is for the week.
Context is for the week. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Singing. All right. Oh gosh, I can't look at myself in the face.
I know.
So how do you look at yourself in the mirror, Ben?
I don't. I just get sad. Okay. Good morning, everyone. For everyone watching, if this is your first time, I'm Ben Hatton, as you can see from the label. I'm the GM for this game, Liber Novus, which is a actual play urban fantasy using the Savage Worlds system. And as always, I want to thank Yureen and Renee and DJ, because without you all, I couldn't be doing this stream. And I want to thank everyone watching, because it's awesome that you're here so early on a Saturday morning if you're in the US, or lovely afternoon if you're not. We have established our lines and our veils in for a just as a heads up about consent. But if we hit anything that you don't like, make sure X card, and we will skip it. No questions asked. Play guidelines. I have adapted these from the Armitage Files by Gumshoe, by Pelgrane Press, from the Trail of. You just have to scroll on back to see what they are. From their module. Remember, seize the helms. This is your chance to drive the plot. Instead of waiting for things to happen, your characters get to take the control and make things happen. Mysteries are confusing at first. You all are getting into the thick of it. It may seem messy or diffuse. This is expected. It is, after all, what real-world investigations look like during the earlier stages. If you're at a loss, gather more information. And there is no wrong choice. Choose the details from the handouts that I'm giving you. Just so you know, nope, that's not what I want. If people at home want to see the document that we are working from, that the players are working from, it is right here. And you all also have access to it. Boop. It's right there. I put it in chat. So feel free to go to look at it as well. Please do. And so that's the stuff that we have there. Can everyone take a minute and introduce themselves? Starting with right above me.
Why do you do this?
I
to me,
don't know
Ben?
who that is.
That's DJ.
Hi, my name is DJ. I play David Sawyer, the lone human photographer, photojournalist, person type thing. I'm also the frontrunner for Applied Materials, which is a podcast I can promote at the end of the show. It's fine. And I also stream. I stream on this account that is gonna be talking in the Liber Novus chat right now. Hi, it's me. There, that guy. Yes, that idiot over there. Yeah, that's me. And yeah, that's it.
Nice. And then going around, Renee.
Okay, hi, I'm Renee. I will be playing Victor Price, a scientist who decided that his burnable human body was not good enough, so he transplanted it into a glass golem for science and such. I also play on DJ's podcast, Applied Materials, and but mostly you can find me here.
And last but not least, that way.
Shireen, I will be playing Tuskin the Bruised, a rogue demon. He escaped hell. He doesn't really remember it. I'll be changing their pronouns all the time because pronouns are a human thing and they are weird and not understood by Tusk. Tuskin is mostly the muscle of the group so far, but maybe today he actually has some mental input as well. Other than over here, you can also find me on as part of DJ's crew over at Applied Materials, as well as on the Bolt Crew RPG podcast.
Yeah. Hooray. Thanks everyone. M. The next thing we have to say is the world that we are in is Baltimore. Well, that's the city. Charm City, the city that reads, the city that bleeds. The Baltimore Sun once wrote, Baltimore has roughly 200 neighborhoods, and each has their own story. However, we are not talking about the Baltimore we know, rather the Baltimore of the Mysteria, the term of the underground collections of mages, monsters, goblins, ghosts, and demons and vampires that make up most of these sort of urban fantasy settings. Our characters work for the 1001, which is a global organization made up of 1001 people that serve as consulting detectives or peace brokers or ambassadors, whatever they operate within the whole world of this urban fantasy with the with the message handed down by their mysterious founder, Morrison Lemire, to be to keep the stories going. Right. That's the whole idea, is that the responsibility is to make sure things keep getting told, that people keep living their lives. What do you all remember from last time? Where did we leave off?
Shall I give the short summary based on the notes that I took?
Sure.
So, where we last started was that we were in the apartment of Bucky Snuffles, because Bucky Snuffles is a otter, if I remember correctly, who is currently in hospital, and he's not looking great, and he's mumbling weird things. So we went to check out his place, but there were people coming over, likely the police, so we had to get out, which went fairly smoothly. And we managed to take away a journal. We analyzed the journal a bunch, and then we decided to go to the market. The night market is a place where all the dark sides of Baltimore come together. So everything that cannot just walk across the streets and such, it happens there. There we found Shadow Malley, and then we interrogated him for a while. That's where my notes start wandering off.
Yep, you went down there, and Shadow Malley. Shadow Malley was a hyperactive pixie.
Oh yeah.
Who sold Bucky Snuffles as near as you can tell, a glamour that allowed him to travel in the human world. You're not quite certain what he looked like as a human. Remember, because he's a 3 foot tall anthropomorphic otter.
I just remembered that before we went to the market, we actually went to the train station where David talked to Darla at the ticket counter and found out where Bucky's train went to.
Yep. All the way to Iowa. I think Iowa.
Yeah, he took the train to Iowa.
Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Yeah.
Yes, but we couldn't find him on camera.
Right, because he
had a different identity, right?
And that's how we ended up at the night market.
Indeed.
Because he had a charm thing that changed his identity.
Well, that changed how he looked because he couldn't just be a 3 foot tall humanoid otter getting on Amtrak, the regular train services. So yes. And so you're trying to figure out his name and what he looks like. You have a copy of the glamour that he has, but none of you have put it on yet, so you still don't know what he looks like. As you were getting ready to leave the hustle bustle underground night market, um, you were at sort of a junction of like a four-way stop paths, and you were stopped by a group of uh, constructs and um, animals like other and a pigeon with a scarf and a like cabbie's hat and a crutch and like a cane walked over and said that Mr. Owl would like to speak to you. And that's where we're at. And I want us to start with, why doesn't everybody give me a general knowledge roll? Or common knowledge roll. I have to look up the things. And you, I believe, have a connection to the underworld or organized crime. Isn't that right, Tuscan?
Yep.
All right, so you get a +2 on this roll.
2. Nice. So for my brain, that means that instead of a D4, I can roll a D8. Right?
No, that means you get to roll a D4
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
add 2 to it, but you also get to roll your D6 because you're a wild card.
Yes.
Okay, a question.
Mhm.
You roll 2 dice. What if they
Mhm.
both explode?
Then you keep rolling, and you re-roll both of them.
Okay, and then the highest result
Yep.
of the Okay,
Yep.
so that takes me up to an 11.
11,
4.
nice. 4.
Right, I'm supposed to be rolling too, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
What am I rolling?
Common knowledge.
Common knowledge.
You're at a -2 though.
I does have that.
You're at a -2.
So
You
I
predict
rolled
because
a
you're not.
6 on my D8 -2. That's a 4.
All right, so you pass as well. Did you add your +2 to get your 4,
What?
Urine?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
I rolled a 2 on my. Wait, no, I rolled a D4 instead of a D6.
Come on, roll your wild card die. Your wild die.
Yeah, that's a 5 plus 2 is 7.
Okay. So you, David, you basically know that King Otter. Nope. You know that
Mr.
Mr.
Owl.
Mr. Owl is the leader of the organized crime in Baltimore, in the Baltimore underworld. That's basically what you know with your 4. Both uh, and Tuscan. In addition to that, you know that things in this particular organization, what they actually do is, the organized crime is run by generations of these sentient animals, and and they've also used their time to bring in like familiars and constructs. If a mage creates like a TikTok being, they also oversee that. It's sort of, imagine a union of like familiars, magical animals, um, uh, elementals that are summoned, and like the same way that like more organized crime has and the mafia have traditionally been involved with unions. That's the way that these people are involved with this. They're like, oh, you would like to use this air elemental for your magic? That's all right, but you got to pay us a little bit of things. So they do shakedowns and things like that. So that's why you know. And they do import, export, etc. But their import, export is like import, export from other realms. That's the sort of stuff they do. Um, and the the leader has traditionally been for years now another otter named King Otter, and over the summer he disappeared, and Mr. Owl, who was basically his consigliere, his second in command, has taken control with a raise. Um, with a raise, Victor, you know that Mr. Owl has not, that there's been pushback to him being in control. Um, and basically, the pushback has been the fact, like, there is some fracturing in this, or you've heard it, right? Because you do a lot of like looking for materials and stuff in your own science. And you know that not everyone is happy that Mr. Owl has been the one to assume control, specifically because he's a bird, and there is some there like the land animals, the mammals of this organization are not particularly happy that the control went to an avian. So there is some fracturing there. Um, so that's what you guys know about the current status. But to be summoned before Mr. Owl is a big deal. and they definitely, and this pigeon definitely showed up with some force, right? He has a big gorilla. He has a literal gorilla. Like in a vest at one thing, and then you see these two other constructs made up of like wire and glass. Oh, like wire and like cogs and stuff, just sort of swirling at another one. Um, there's this whole feeling of, yes, this is in fact, they are inviting you to talk to Mr. Owl, but that's not really an invitation. How do you guys react?
Apes together strong. No.
Yep.
It sounds like an offer we cannot refuse.
I'm gonna
course
give
not.
one nothing. Can't refuse.
If Mr. Owl wants to talk to us, he probably has a good proposition.
We should
I've dealt
probably
with them
just
before. They're fairly reasonable.
we should probably just go along with this just in case, you know, they might like rough us up or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I can probably take one of them, maybe two, but like all of them together at once is a bit much.
You say that out loud, because when you do if you do, like, does Tuscan say that softly out loud?
Is Tuscan subtle?
No. So when you
No.
say that, the gorilla definitely like flip, like, you know, gets like a little like chest beady. He's like, "Want to try?"
No, not today.
Let's
I'll see you in the gym later, though.
you know, lots of squinting. Um,
He starts smiling, which is very aggressive for gorillas.
um, okay. Well, so you all are going with him, great. And as soon as you say that you are willing to, um, for those of you at home watching, we are definitely having. I've have like where I do by the recording. There's some ants, and I've been trying to like I've been putting stuff down. So if you ever hear me just like this loud like slap, it's mostly because I'm killing ants while we talk. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just don't want you to think that I'm just like slapping around. Anyway, slapping around's not a term that people use, and that's not something people do in general. Just like, I'm just hitting things. No, no. Anyway, so everyone sort of peels off, right? Melts back into the crowd of buyers and shoppers and consumers of this underground market, and only the pigeon remains. And it says like, that was a very wise decision. Let's he's like and I assume, I think this is sort of early evening at this point. You guys have had a day, and so he says, Mr. Owl is taking a meal up on the third floor. Or no, Mr. Owl is taking a meal up on the first floor. Because you'll remember that it's like a tiered mall underground, and the first floor, which is closest to the service, is the most established. It has the most established stores. It has the nicest restaurants, etc. And the lower you go down, the more itinerant and less sound and less stable businesses are. And you guys have been on the sort of northwest quadrant of the third level, which is mostly like stalls and what. And you all are being, he's sort of like, you'll notice that this pigeon cannot fly. One of his wings and one of his legs is definitely has been mangled, and so it is a slow limping walk as he takes you towards the stairs.
Tuscan will
I
offer to carry the pigeon, but he will say, "Sir, uh, I don't mean to diminish you. I don't mean to be rude. Um, but would you mind being carried so we can move quicker and not waste more time of Mr. Owl? I am willing to put you down right, but well before we reach there, and you can walk the last bit if that is okay."
Hmm.
In response to this, Victor will say, "Have you ever considered the advantages of a non-meat body?"
Ugh. Okay. Why don't you,
You have to consider
Tuscan?
becoming a construct.
Uh, Tuscan, why don't you give me a persuasion at +2 to see what he does? And uh, hold on. Victor, he turns to you, and oh my god, I don't even know how this pigeon would respond. Hold on. He
Do
turns
you
to you
want
and
my
he says,
result first?
no, because the result will depend on. He needs to say something. But he goes, turns to you and he
Okay.
says, Vic, he goes, uh, Mr. Price, I believe it is, although I would assume that Mr. is subjective. At this point, I was born meat and flesh, and I will die meat and flesh. Um, but uh, so it has not been considered of me. They once said, like, they talked about tinkering wings and tinkering legs, but that stuff, that stuff is not in my. No, no. I will born flesh and I'll die flesh.
Okay.
It's how the universe made me. What did you roll, Tuscan?
9.
Okay, so with a
My 4 exploded. My D4
nice.
exploded.
So with a 9, he'll turn to you and say, "It is a long day, and it is a long walk. Thank you, Tuscan. I have heard nice things about you." And sort of stops for a minute to let you pick him up.
Tuscan will pick him up and put him on his shoulder.
Um, and he will guide you up the stairs through this, through this mass of people, and takes you to one of the nicer restaurants in the underground, Chicanery, is what it's called. Fine dining, etc. Usually, my guess is I would assume that none of you have ever been in here before. It's super fancy, and when you enter, it is all, as I said last time, the Mysteria tends to, because of the long life of some of its residents, tends to be a whole mix of generations and designs. And this and chicanery is kind of that old Art Deco classic vibe. So lots of rounded edges. The archway has that those like swirl patterns to things, and so that's the look that it has. It hasn't tried to modernize, so you don't have a lot of like real clear hard lines and steel. It's very soft and leather. It smells incredible. It's just this potpourri of beautiful smells as you come in. They're pretty mouth-watering as long as you have a mouth. Um, and one thing that you do in fact notice is it prides itself on adaptability and inclusivity. So you see like a table with just these huge chairs that are obviously designed for creatures of immense weight and stature, but you also see tables that are much smaller, which are probably for like the wealthier fae folk and stuff. So it, but what's important is to understand is that all of the designs are the same. So it's everything here is custom. Everything here is incredibly expensive. There is a soft, almost ballad lute-like music that is filtering over the restaurant, and it is very noisy. One thing I don't think like it is very noisy in the night market. It is so much sound, like because you have hawkers and restaurants and shops and stuff. But as soon as you cross that threshold, all you hear is this music. So there's obviously some sort of sound dampening occult apparatus, so that when you walk in, it's own like you couldn't even tell. And the maitre d, this very officious, thin human, you're assuming, doesn't there's nothing overtly otherworldly about them, except maybe the just the gravity defying like comb over slash wave of hair that they have. It's like bam, but that could just be gel. Um, it's almost quill like their hair, and they take you back to where this private corner, and at the table is Mr. Owl is a legitimate owl. That's it. Just like an owl. And he is perched on a
What kind of owl then?
ooh,
Because owls range from like
fair enough.
10
Thank you for the
centimeters high to
no,
40 centimeters
no.
high.
This is a big horned owl. That's what it is. So like they've got those like tufts that come up. Um Yeah, and that come up. That's almost like very sort of uh, um, uh, in like a threatening way. Like it comes across very aggressively, even though that's just their hair, right? Um, and 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 like you guys have seen horned owls before, but this is like a broad like it's hard to explain like what a broad-chested owl would look like an owl that maybe did some lifting in college. You know what I mean? But he's got like owl pecs. You know what I like some real like I don't know. Like that's the best thing I could say. Owl pecs.
He's
Like he
ripped.
had yeah, he's ripped. He's like owl ripped. Um that's a turn of a phrase. Good job, Ben Hatton. So yeah, and he's perched on this interesting like this custom. Obviously, they roll it out for avians, like this gold and um, leather perch that is in the shape of like a branch, like a half-grown tree, and he's perched on that, pecking at a uh, a plate of like honey and pistachio covered mice. Like obviously he's enjoying a after dinner treat. Um like dormice. dormice in artisanal honey and roasted pistachios. There is also a small duck sitting next to him. The duck has a tie on, like just like a collar and a tie. And then sitting on the opposite side of him is, as we've said before, the larger the generations go by, the more humanoid animal, like magical animals look at, the more anthropomorphic. Well, the person sitting next to him his family must be generations, or it is generations old, because this is a regular human-sized cat person. Except it's one of those hairless cats, so that like the skin is all like pink and saggy with like little rolls, but it's like super skinny and stuff, and he's just covered in tattoos, just like blue black tattoos on his little cat skin. And he is not dressed nicely. He's just in like leathers and jeans, like leather jacket and jeans, and he is sitting back, particularly, like not particularly plussed by this experience. Not impressed. Looks bored. And Mr. Owl gives a little bob of his head at the pigeon. The pigeon bobs his head back and walks off. And you have 3 chairs put in front of you, designed specifically. David and Tuscan, I think your chairs can definitely hold your weight and size, because I believe both of you are larger.
Correct. David isn't.
No, I'm
No, not David.
I'm-
Victor.
yeah.
Victor. Sorry, Victor.
I am
Victor,
normal
you're
human.
tall, but I don't know how much a glass person weighs. Do you think you have to get like a bunch of custom-made furniture, Victor?
I think I do,
Okay.
because glass can be heavy. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I will now look up the density of glass because I need to know.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, huge panes of glass are super heavy. So,
Depends on, are you solid glass or are you hollow inside?
oh man, if you're solid glass,
Um,
you're so heavy.
Yeah,
Well-
exactly.
well, emotionally maybe.
Uh,
But yes.
well, I don't think any of us will start speaking before Mr. Owl does. I think we like looped in David a little further
Mhm.
into who Mr. Owl actually is and how important it is that we are like summoned in front of him, and yeah, some of the basic customs that go around this place or around these people.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I've been practicing Mr. Owl's voice, and I realized that he doesn't have lips. So,
I wonder who could it be?
whoo, hello. But how would Mr. Owl? Oh, both Tuscan and um Victor know that one of the biggest coups about Mr. Owl is he is first generation. He was born and gained knowledge from non-sentient animals. So the fact that he is already, after this point in his life, gained the level of status that he has is really a big deal. That means this cat is not to be messed with. This owl, this bird is not to this cat. Anyway, so he kind of pecks at he sits down, right? You guys, you are all instructed to sit. You sit down. The duck sort of looks at you. The cat man sort of looks at you, and Mr. Owl just goes in and grabs one of those honey mice, and you see his head lean back, and he sort of does that thing where he chokes it down into his stomach, and then it's a very ostentatious show. It is obviously designed to suggest predator, to suggest aggression and threatening, but without being this like overtly shaking you down. Like they're not punching you in a gut as you sit down. They're not roughing you up, but everything about the move is designed to suggest I don't know, aggression and dominance. And then he sits there, thank you for joining me. And he's just staring at you. His head does that like Bobby thing.
Of course, how could we refuse?
You would be surprised how often someone does. I am not one to mince words or waste time. So I'll ask you right now, what does the 1001 want with Mr. Snuffles? And this is very interesting. Because as far as, unless I think we've had this question that, does anyone know, have you told anyone that you're 1001? So the fact that Mr. Owl knows is like a big deal. This is a flex right off the bat, designed to unnerve. He is showing that he knows things, just so you know.
I think Tuscan is trying to keep his mouth shut for a change.
I think that would be up to the 1001 or whoever they may be.
Oh.
Like, okay, let's see. What is? Let me find the skill for that one. No, 19.
I probably don't have it, but yes.
Yes. Okay, hold on.
Is there not
Oh.
love skill or something?
Yes, there is a no. It may be persuasion, and it may be. I gave you all the skill. What is it? Trickery? Yeah. Give me a trickery roll.
Um.
And if you don't have it, it's a D4 -2.
Yes.
And your wild card. And your wild die as well. -2.
And my wild die is also -2, yes.
Yep.
Oh. More exploding dice.
Man, you and your dice.
Yes, but it was a 4 and it exploded into a 1. So with the -2, it's still a 3.
Oh.
Yikes. Sort of bobs his head a minute. And I don't know how you could give a cagey smile with a beak, but there is a cagey smile with a beak.
I think it's in the eyes.
Yeah,
It's
I think
definitely
you're
in
right.
the eyes.
Yes, whatever could they be interested in? You're right. How silly of me. Well, then, if we don't know what they're doing, I will have to ask, what is your interest in Mr. Snuffles? because I can tell that Mr. Sawyer was there at his room, and I'm going to assume that there aren't very many other large purple demons running around. Or, are you still dressed in your motorcycle leathers, by the way?
Of course.
Oh, or helmeted motorcyclists. Hmm.
It's the fact that it's custom made, isn't it? Victor will say with a wink in his voice, as far as he can put that in his voice.
It's very noticeable and lovely. Hmm. So, such a disparate group of people visiting together. A victim of an assault. Hmm? What can you tell me?
Renee is also trying to remember what the reason was that we went to Bucky in the
Because your
first
boss,
place.
because Morrison Lemire told you to.
Okay, yeah.
Your boss told you to. And then you found out that Bucky Snuffles was a secret agent for your organization.
And that he was assaulted.
That he was, that he was found messed up and incoherent on the human surface, out of a glamour, at like 33 East Lombard Street, and that was a big deal.
So what we could, out of character, what we could throw it on is that we are helping David with just as friends, helping David with a piece for the newspapers.
Yeah, is
It's
it
not a
known?
great cover.
Is it known that Bucky was a reporter?
No, nope,
No.
no. Bucky
Uh,
was
No, but David is.
David is a reporter, is a traveling reporter. Bucky was no Bucky is the playboy son of a wealthy animal family with connections to everybody. Well, that was his his exterior image, is that he traveled from like Mysteria towns to Mysteria towns, just being like a wealthy socialite and being racing cars and living the party life. But now there's that was the overall like exterior impression of him. And you guys actually haven't you don't really know what he was doing for the Mysteria. You just know that or for the 1001, like his actual role in it, you haven't looked into that. And so, but you do know that he was sent somewhere, and upon returning, something right from his journal.
well, and I think this is something that David would say rather than Victor, but I think the fact that he was so famous or infamous for his lifestyle and that he was found assaulted and nobody noticed a thing, that could be an entrance point. What do you think, DJ?
Yeah, that's fine. I think David's gonna say something along the lines of, I mean, he was a prominent guy, right? And I mean, knowing that you know pretty much everything that happens in this town, you should know by now that I used to be a journalist, and so can't help but get curious. Decided to pop into his room, ask a few questions. My journalist instinct kicked in. You know what I mean?
Give me that persuasion roll.
I hate you.
Give me that persuasion roll, or trickery if you have trickery.
I don't have trickery, but I do have.
No, sorry. Give me a trickery roll because you're lying. Yep. Give me a trickery roll.
I don't have trickery.
Sorry, I set you up for this.
He's
DJ.
hoping I don't drop my dice into the floor. Okay, that.
Ba.
2. With the -2, it's 2.
No.
Minus.
4.
We're fucked. Did
Minus.
you roll for your D4?
No, I rolled a 4 on my D6.
Ah,
My
damn it.
D4 rolled a 1.
No,
once.
no. All right.
Hold on. I can still re-roll with a Benny, right?
Yeah, you can always reroll with a Benny.
It's a good thing we all
You can
we start each session with 3. Just to remind you.
Get that you have an action card.
Yeah,
No,
his
my action card won't be great in this scenario. Trust me, it won't.
Well, my
That'd be
my,
the
scenar-
Mine
my
is
action card will
bad.
make everything super much, like, very much worse. I'm very
Explode.
tempted.
Okay, so 6 plus this. Okay, 6.
All right, let me roll his.
I rolled a 6 on my d6, which exploded, and I rolled a 2. So that's an 8, but with the -2, that's a 6.
Okay, well, he just a peek behind the curtain. He rolled a 17, because lies are contested, and so he rolled a. He has a D10 in this, and because that's what his bag is, and he exploded. So he looked at you and he was like, "Blam! Feathers everywhere." Just every. Actually, you see the there's a pause, and the hairless cat man, you see him sort of like flex a little bit, and it is as he's um just like something so menacing in this like gaunt move, and just as he rolls his shoulders and starts it reaches into behind his back and pulls out a short knife and starts cleaning his like claws, just like a little, like just picking at them, absent-mindedly. And the owl looks at, and Mr. Owl looks at you, and he says, "You- "You're lying.
Can't blame me for
Which is
trying.
this? Yeah, no, it's disappointing. I am
Hey, man,
disappointed.
what can you
But
do, man? I retired.
yes, I understand. These are trying times.
So yeah, you see, you understand. We all want some answers, and I'm just trying to expedite the process. That's all.
Answers indeed. That is exactly what I want from you all. Is answers. I am not planning on standing in the way of your investigation. And in fact, I was hoping that I could somehow aid in it. But we're not there yet. Aid is aid is based on mutual trust and honesty, and unfortunately, you have come up wanting with this. But I will say, lay out my cards at least on in this regards. Um, these are, as you know, King Otter is missing, and as you know, the Snuffles are an important family. Their connection, obviously, is the fact that they're both of the Chordata phylum. If we are
Before I
starting
continue, can you
this,
spell that?
oh, Chordata, it's Chordata. That's just the scientific phylum for them, right? It's just the right the the
It means they're
Mustelidae.
otters.
Yeah, it just means they're otters,
Right.
right? Right. He's just trying to be like smart. He's trying to be, the Mustelidae family, if you want to go that specific. Lutrini subfamily.
Yeah, I know I know my Latin. You're talking about otters.
Hmm. Obviously, this group is. It's if someone is out there hurting and attacking the uh, sentient animals. That would not be. That is not something that I can allow to happen. Understood?
Mm, most definitely.
Excellent. And so, all I can say is, should any information come up in your uh, um, investigation that will be pertinent to my sphere of influence, I would take it as a personal favor if you would tell me before anyone else. Hmm.
We'll see what comes up. I mean, right now, all we know is all we know, and all we know is very
Hmm.
little.
Hmm.
Yes, but let's not underestimate the personal favors of Mr. Owl.
Hmm. Yes, Victor, you are a smart person. I do also like it is a shame that a being such as yourself doesn't have more interactions with us. Hmm.
Victor will stand and his helmet will go uh, like he's raising an eyebrow. Like elaborates.
A construct such as yourself. Well, let's see how the investigation goes. Shall we? Hmm.
We can agree on that at least.
Hmm. There will be other groups that are going to want information.
Well, you can tell us the names of these groups, and we will. And if you want us to avoid them, we'll avoid them. Because if they're bad people,
Hmm. No, perhaps if we had been honest in the first place, but
that's
I'm
fine.
afraid you'll have to know on your own. Um, mm,
That's fine.
Obviously, the dusk shift will be knocking on your door soon. And you guys know that the dusk shift is just what's referred to as the small group of police officers um, and law enforcement officials who are in the know about the world. That's all. Like they're official cops, detectives, FBI agents, etc., who know about the world. Obviously, I do know they are looking for you, which you also know, David, because you got a phone call from from your guy last time. Hmm. Um, but please. And then he sort of turns to look at the duck, and the duck takes a wing out and slides a business card to you all. Oh, I should have made the business card. Darn it! And it's just got a phone number on it. Next time I will. It just has a phone number, and a name, and it says mm, it says J. No, not J. Because you already. It says SP Mallard is the name on the card and the phone number. Mr. Mallard here will be your contact if you need to give any information. Hmm?
David takes the card and sticks it into the inner pocket of his jacket, and he goes, "Sure, sure."
I believe we are done here. And he blam down and eats another mouse and sort of chugs it down again.
Tuskin will push his chair backwards, stand up, and say, "It's always a pleasure doing business with you." And then like he doesn't turn his back on the table. He walks away facing the table until he is 5 or 10 steps away, then turns around and then walks out.
Actually, interestingly enough, and wait, hold on a second. Let's pause that. What did the two of you do? Vincent and
I would.
Victor.
I think Victor will just give a nod and turn around and walk away.
Vincent.
Sorry, I got confused. Victor.
Well, Vincent Price is the
Yes,
actor.
Victor Price,
so-
Vincent Price. Yeah, no, I just like for a second I like got my I had a what they call in psychology a recall failure. Yes. What does David do?
I think he's just waiting to see what Tuscan and Victor do, and then emulate one of them that is the less rude.
Well, Victor starts walking away. Tuscan gets up and starts doing the same thing. And Tuscan, as you get 2 or 3 steps away, Mr. Al goes, Tuscan, a moment of your time privately, please.
Tuscan's eyes will dilate a little further and then just go to normal, and he will walk back to the chair, sit down without saying anything.
And
He's very much intimidated by this owl.
and he
He
looks
is
at
like
you.
twice the size of this owl, at least, if not 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm. And he turns to you and he said, yeah, you're so much bigger than this owl. And he turns to you and
David has walked out at this point.
okay. And the owl leans in close and he says, Tuscan, you've done work with us before. And we have a relationship. I would very much like us to continue the relationship. I am counting on you.
Of course.
Also, as a show of goodwill, I will give you this. There's a newcomer to the area who has been asking around for you, saying you by name and description. All signs go to show that it is a certain long-eared shapeshifter.
No. Do I know this long-eared shapeshifter, or do I recognize this description?
Yeah.
Yeah, figured as much.
You in fact took the hindrance enemy.
Yup.
And the best, like when he says that, that the puka, Fey puka that has been hunting you for most of your time here, who you thought you shook last, like I don't know where you thought you shook him last, has finally tracked you down. I think we discussed that the last time you saw them was in the UK.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and so it has been a few years, but you've been stationary enough and settled in Baltimore enough that this person has come a calling, or no, has been there. And I will say, I am not sure, based on the tone of his inquiries, that he has the greatest, the utmost kindness in his heart about your reunion, shall we say. It would be a shame if he found you, it sounds like.
Yeah, we have a different worldview. He'd like I'd like to see a world with me alive, and he would like to see a world with me banished.
As I said, it would be a shame if he found you.
I understand.
Oh, thank you. All right, and on that, let's take a short break.
10 minutes, maybe?
10 minutes. 10-minute break. Woo, woo, woo.
10 minutes gives me time to go and have that shower I wanted to go and take.
Yeah.
So I'll be right back.
All
Obviously.
right.
And BRB screen is on.
All right. I am going to go get a glass of water. the GM this time. I'm every character. I'm every character. It's all in me. Yikes. I'm every character. Hello, chat. I'm back when everyone else is back. Whenever you cats are ready. Manhattan. What's that song? Good King, blah, 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 blah. Right? Good.
I'm
Yep.
somehow the first to arrive back. Renee followed by
I'm back.
second. I'm somehow gone from my shower. Shower is good.
Yes, we
feel
had to
better now.
fix.
What happened?
We had to fix lunch and stuff.
Lunch.
Man, lunch
Also,
sounds...
also, the cat wanted attention.
Well, I mean, you gotta give the cat attention. Do, 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 do. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, since
What's
you're
that
still on
song?
the BRB screen, I'm gonna send you my character's secret.
Your character's what?
Oh no, because David took a hindrance, which is a secret / minor in brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot to send you that, so I just sent you that real quick.
Do, 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 do. What am I thinking of in my head?
You're thinking of a Christmas song.
Yeah,
Yeah, what is
that's,
which Christmas song?
Saint
What-
Wenceslas. This is sang in Love Actually, when the Prime Minister goes around looking for Natalie.
Oh, that is. God. Yeah, what a fun time. What if I like it? How's the song go though?
I don't know.
Oh, right, and his like driver has a better singing voice. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Right. Right. He sings terribly, but his driver can like bust out with like.
Hi ho! Okay, is everybody back? Everybody ready? You ready for me to transition back into the? Oh no! Wait, no! You're stuffing your face.
Yes, I will also be stuffing my face from time to time.
Also, but like, I don't know whether you could tell earlier, but I was also eating something.
Oh, good King Wenceslas. Yeah.
Wenceslas.
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 Yeah.
When was his last meal?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
not an easy to say
No,
name.
it's not.
Wait,
I'm
hold on.
ready.
I have to mute myself. My in-laws are calling just for a second.
Oh, wonderful. We can't transition over
Great
just
timing.
yet.
We'll be right back, folks.
Mommy, we've already
After this
been.
very important phone call.
We've already been right back. We are back, but now Ben has to be back.
Fair. Now I have that song stuck in my head.
Which song?
All right, goodbye. Oh, thanks, Kaylee. She just hung up on me. Kaylee called me, and she was like, "I miss you," and I was like, "You should call your mom," and she was like, "Okay," and then just like dead air. Because I haven't taught my children how to say goodbye properly. Apparently.
Apparently.
See you later. Bloop. Good King Wenceslas. All right, I'll stop. I really,
Okay, are
you
we ready now to transition back to
We
the
are.
webcam
We're
screen?
back.
Okay, good. We're back.
Yep. Yes. Hindrance. The in-laws are calling. That is true.
Yes, that's very true,
Uh, it-
Rasp.
yeah. Yeah. Yep. Nope. 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 What am I gonna say now? Oh, right. So you all have been summarily dismissed by Mr. Owl. Uh, what's the bag? What's the moves? What's the haps?
I think we reconvene in front of the restaurant, and as
Yeah.
soon as Tuskin, well, Tuskin is still inside when you guys are outside, so I hope you wait for him.
No, they're just gone. Tuscan's hitch right has to take Mysteria Uber home.
Mysteria Uber,
I'm assuming
driven
it's just
by
like
a seal.
it's just a bunch of paneled vans because you don't know what size these things are gonna be. Anyway, I'm
Anyway.
getting distracted. Yeah.
um, so as soon as Tuskin walks out of the restaurant, he'd say, "Well, that went better than expected. I think."
Not really. We came out of that at a pretty big disadvantage. To
Came out of that alive.
yeah, alive is one thing, information is another. But I could gather from what Mr. Owl said that I think maybe possibly that Bucky wasn't the only sentient animal in Baltimore to have disappeared in recent weeks, if not months. At least that was the feeling that I was getting, because like what he said was something along the lines of like, I don't want any more uh walking talking animal disappearances on my owl conscience, if he has one. And
Well,
it kind of,
King Otter disappeared.
yeah, King Otter disappeared, but do we know of any other animals that might have disappeared before King Otter? And I'm not even talking like prominent individuals. I'm talking like plain Jane people. You know what I mean? Like normal people who aren't important. Because if what I'm thinking is correct, then someone or several someones are doing something to these poor animals that they catch and make disappear. Probably what happened to King Otter, and Bucky just got away with it, I think. But he paid for it he paid a pretty high price for it. I don't know. We're just spitballing here, and we probably shouldn't be spitballing out in the street, right in front of the establishment that we know he owns.
Does he? I don't know if he owns
He probably does. He says he's.
it. Fair.
I mean, I'm not a native, but like, seen one mob boss, seen them all. You know what I mean?
Honestly, no. Because
Mm,
I was in the UK before, and though there were sentient animals there, they weren't the mafia. The mafia was like people.
well, I mean, you just probably weren't looking hard enough.
Maybe.
But yeah, but let's not talk about this on the street. Let's get back to let's go home first, and then we'll figure something out from there.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
plan.
Hmm.
Off to home we go.
Okay, so you all make it in the it is a what's the word? It is not a long an eventful drive home, and so sorry, there's a car coming. And so it's basically what do you have the book in front of you, you have his journal of uh and that sort of which is and you have that's what you have.
So first things first, he knew about us, which tells me that one of our number is compromised by Mr. Owl and his cohorts, which is not something that we should take lightly, because a mole, figuratively speaking, in our organization could, I don't know, spell the end of it. Blackmail would be the least. I mean, least of our concerns, but still, blackmail. It's bad press.
Yes, but then again, it could also be a quid pro situation. Like, he has information on us, and we have a mole in his organization. Like,
You
I don't know.
you assume that this mole in our organization would be so easily turned to our side, and to
Oh, no. What I assume is that the person from our organization went into his organization fully knowing what he was going to do.
we don't know that.
No. But I say we must assume all options until the evidence points us in the right direction.
Well, consider me a skeptic then, but I think that whoever this person is, might wanna. Well, we know they exist now, so the question turns into not if we find them, but when. And so I think what we need to have on the table at some point or another is, what will we do once we find this person? Who are they, and what is their connection to your city's underground? And if so, how can we leverage that to our advantage?
Well, I don't know. I have worked with the Mafia before. I've worked with Mr. Owl before. As long as you do what you are told, they are decent folk.
Okay,
It was nice working for them.
yeah,
Never had any troubles.
yeah. Well, I mean, as long as you don't give them any trouble, they won't give you any trouble. That's the way organized crime works. I've seen it in a dozen cities the world over.
Yeah,
As long as,
you talked about blackmail. So, what if they have something on you? What do you do then?
I mean, I'll deal with my own secrets the same way you deal with yours, in time and with discretion, of course.
How?
Well, I mean,
How do you deal with somebody blackmailing you?
I suppose you go along with them until you figure out a way to get back at them,
Okay,
Besides, like,
that's something I can do.
if they want to blackmail me specifically, because feathers back there decided to name drop me out of the most out of the three of us, and I mean, the secret that I have, it's so long ago. Do you think that they could really bring it up as a secret, as a thing they can leverage against me? I'm not scared. I owned that mistake when I made it, and I paid for it.
Nah.
So
Yeah, your thing is not worth anything anymore.
I mean, they can try if they want to be real petty about it, but I'm over
They
it.
can try, and they will fight my fist in their face.
Good. Now that we've got that out of the way, we need to focus back on this investigation. So I think one thing that we didn't. You said that you managed to get the glamour from Shadow Malley, right, Victor?
Yes, I did.
Should we? How does one go about putting on a glamour? Educate me, or something. Is it like a ring you put on, or is it like a necklace or something?
We get a word for it, right? Activation word or something.
DM help.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was,
Did we get that word, or did we?
Well, you got something. He gave you something.
Yeah.
Or right, they gave you a is it a pin? I think they gave you a pin to put on.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
It was the same glamour as what they sold Bucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then they had the communication. Uh,
That someone would contact
whatchamacallit?
us regarding
The right, because they
identity
didn't have the
thing.
legal. They didn't do the legal IDs or yeah, because Shadow Malley doesn't do the like legal IDs and stuff. That was handled by somebody else.
Yeah.
And you asked them to reach out to you, but person has not done that yet.
Nope.
Um,
Well,
so
I think what I want to do, what we should do now is, well, we know the biggest secret, which is Bucky was one of us, and so I kind of want to call Lumiere and figure out, hey, and tell him, hey, so did you know that Bucky was one of us, and what did he do? Like, why is he one of us? What is his?
Oh.
Do you seriously want to call Amir and ask him if
It's the most direct option that I can think of, unless you
if
don't want
he
to step on his toes or something.
No, I'm fine with that, but do you really want to start off with did you know he was part of your organization?
Oh, okay,
And he was
that's fair.
he was given the
Coin.
coin that you all carry, and only Lemire, as far as you know, only Lemire ever gives out the coin.
Okay,
You're always you're the word I'm trying to think about. You are always he has a person or a few people, as far as you know, who what's the word I'm trying to think of, who travel around finding people and suggesting people, but he's the person who links the coin to you particularly.
That's a good idea. I need to talk to Lemire anyway.
So, but I guess we'll just have to call him up and talk to him about Bucky, because I mean, he should know about Bucky then, considering that he was the one who put us onto this investigation in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So we could go to him for more information
Yes.
on places to look. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's call him, and like David takes out his phone.
Yeah, because the only out of character, the only place within the city, within the city that we haven't looked at yet is in the park at that weird statue of the angel.
Okay,
Mhm.
do we want to
But
look
that
at the
was-
park? In the park, do we want to go
But
to the
wasn't
park
the
first?
park was
or-
the park in Baltimore or was the park in
So
Ohio?
there is
That
a
was a monument. That's not in Baltimore.
right. The monument is in Council Bluffs.
Council
The
Bluffs,
monument
Iowa.
of the
Yeah.
Iowa of the angel is in Council Bluffs, Iowa. But did I say Council Bluffs? Or did I say Council Bluffs? Sorry, it doesn't matter.
It's Council Bluffs.
But the but the
Park.
the park, there's a clipped in what's the word I'm thinking of, postcard from Patterson Park.
Yes, that's why I got confused. I made that one place, but it's two.
It's two separate places. Patterson Park
separate
is
places. But still out of character. I think just staying put for a while might be good because there's a couple people coming to us as well, and looking for us.
That's true.
As well. So
they don't
just
know where you live.
No, but like,
Victor's call.
Just because
Victor's gonna be
staying
expecting a
put
call
for a
from one of them.
while. Yeah, and waiting for the dark to go to the park and look at that might also be good since we have one glass golem and one rogue demon.
Yes, because it's true. It is the up world, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
The top surface.
But I think we should call
So
Lumiere.
let's call Lumiere.
Yeah, let's call Lumiere first.
Okay. It's interesting because you guys usually communicate simply by text.
Or okay, I mean, if
yeah, out of character. The way you guys normally set anything up, because Lemire is notoriously just like flighty around the world, and he may not even be in America.
Okay, so
right?
text instead.
So you may have to the sort of standard way to communicate is via like text messaging. Um, there's another way of doing it using your coin, but that's sort of like not
Convenient.
that is taxing,
Oh.
and usually requires a setup as well.
So I guess
You
David
can,
will just text Lumiere and say, "Hey, I need to ask you about Bucky."
So
um,
Tuskin wants to talk to you
Da-
about a problem they have.
also, David just like does a little beep boop on his phone. And there's a group chat with like him and Tuskin and Victor and Lumiere. Like,
Tuskin
yep.
looks over your shoulder and just. Also, Tuskin would needs a word.
Bleep bleep, right, and it goes out, and everyone's phone bings for a second. Um,
I've
and
decided that Tuskin is not great with technology.
it makes sense. Phones, I
Phones
can't
are weird.
even. Phones are weird, and I can't even imagine. Like David probably has to wear like haptic gloves, right? Because
I'm a dude.
to
David?
No, I'm a.
nope, sorry, Victor. Sorry, I'm always
You
like,
you keep mixing us up, don't you?
I know, I do it. I do it every
I'm not made of
time.
glass.
Victor probably has to use like haptic gloves for a cell phone if he even wants to, because um, like glass on glass doesn't work, and there's no heat there. So, and he doesn't have a tongue or a nose. Um, you can use your tongue and nose to type on your phone, just so you know. It's gross, but you can. Anyway, what am I thinking? Trying to think.
Bet that Victor has some way of having integrated different sensors in his fingers and different sensors in the phone, where if they align, then stuff happens. So he probably has altered his entire phone.
Probably.
It's one of those like glass things you see in cyberpunk games. Like it's just a
Yeah.
phone-shaped sheet of glass.
Yeah.
Fear of this. Okay, so it's a few minutes that goes by, and the response is, um, what do you want to know? Is the response that comes back.
And then David will take a picture of Buffy's. David will take a picture of Bucky's coin and send it to Lumiere and say, "Did you know?" No, sorry. And ask
He
and ask
he
Lumiere.
no he knows. Remember,
Yeah,
that's why he sent
that's
you
why
to
I
the
backtracked. Yeah,
apartment.
that's why I backtracked. And
He
I was
sent
like,
you to the apartment to get the coin,
yeah.
right? To like make sure that no one knew.
And David will
So
ask
we
Lumiere.
so we also already knew that Bucky was part of us.
You did not until yesterday, not until
No,
the
no,
day.
but yes, but the fact that we had to retrieve his coin and we, the players, forgot that. I think.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Lumiere told us to
Yeah.
retrieve a journal
no,
from
the
the apartment.
coin,
The coin.
the journal was added to the coin.
Okay, so I
You
think,
didn't
Okay.
have any
No,
idea about
Lumiere.
this.
So like we were surprised that Lumiere told us to retrieve a coin, which was
Mhm.
very
Well,
surprising.
yes. He
But
didn't
like,
want it coming out that Bucky and he didn't want it coming out to anybody that Bucky was
but like,
part of your organization.
David will ask, what was Bucky's specialization? What was his thing in the in the 1001? What did he do? That
And
sets him apart from like every other dime a
uh,
dozen sentient talking otter in the world.
and there's another few moments of silence, and it like a few minutes go by, and the response is, he was in a unique place to gather information about many things. And so I used him, or he was he gathered information under the guise of his under the guise of just laissez-faire laissez-faire, like rich person, one percenter. and, you know, and then wrote, and then under my instructions wrote anonymous exposés on corruption.
Okay, so it's kind of like me, but so he's a whistleblower. That's what he is.
Do you write that back?
No, I'm not writing that back.
Oh.
I'm David is like, reading all of this stuff, and he goes, "Oh, so Bucky was a whistleblower. That's what he was doing."
Yeah, he was a plant.
A mole.
Yeah, he would go around and just stick around and do stuff.
Interesting. Oops, shit. It's not how you spell professional. Then David is then going to ask, did you send him on any assignments in Iowa in the last 2 weeks?
And he texts back, I knew he was going, but that was a project of his own.
Oh, okay. So that was so the whole Iowa thing was a personal project. Okay. Then I think David will ask, did he ever send you anything about Baltimore and its governance? Was he reporting to you regarding the corruption within Baltimore itself?
Yes.
And
That was certainly something that he was dealing with.
Okay.
Or that I, and that's true, right? Like I mean, especially the two of you, and by the two of you, I mean Victor and Tuscan. He mentions in his journal the article about the ruby, and the article about the ruby was written by the anonymous, the anonymous reporter that is constantly putting out information for writing these like real hard-hitting exposés. And if that reporter was all Bucky all the time, then that's a big deal. Then he's been going after corruption for in Baltimore for a minute. And by for a minute, I mean for a while.
Then David's gonna call Victor over and kind of point to the stuff that Lumiere sent him and say, do you know anything about this? Like this whole whistleblowing thing here in Baltimore?
You do not. Nope.
No clue.
So but I know. I know I've heard David has heard mention of that. This anonymous whistleblower who's been sending.
Oh no! Victor certainly knows about the. Victor knows about the anonymous reporter. Everybody knows about the anonymous reporter.
That is what I was.
But he. Oh, then yes. But he does not have any. But the fact that Bucky were being the anonymous reporter, that is no one knew about that. If it's true, if it's the truth, that is a new thing.
They said David's gonna ask Victor do you think Bucky could have been that one dude who was giving your news outlets all of these weird reports about companies and other things within your city? You think that could be a possibility? Or
well, I think if you would have asked me before all this, that you gave me two options. He was a secret reporter or part of us. and then the secret reporter part would have been like way higher odds for me.
So that's another reasonable assumption we can make, is that Bucky was that anonymous whistleblower that has been sending in all of this dirty shit to your city's news agencies. That is another connection that we can make. This is, but it is a
Yes.
possibility, of course.
Yes, and that's definitely also a possible reason that someone would beat him up.
And attempt to make him vanish, like they did with King Otter, which, like what happened to King Otter, which now then raises the question: did Bucky get assaulted in connection to what he was doing with these news agencies, whistleblowing and reporting on all of the corruption that's going on in your city? And did King Otter know this and maybe was asking, or he was supporting Bucky, and that's why he got vanished? I mean, these are things, and like David is now in front of that, in front of his cork board, just sort of like writing things down on index cards, sticking them into the board, putting big question marks behind some on top of some things, and it's like this investigation board is now getting a little bit more full and crowded.
Okay, yeah, that's possible. But what if it is something else? What if Mr. Owl is correct and somebody is going after the the sentient animal
But I
community?
mean, that's what we're here to find out, Tuscan. We're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Like,
Fair.
like we're looking at a jigsaw puzzle right now, and we don't know what the picture is on the jigsaw puzzle. We've got all these pieces, and we need to put them together in the right order. That's what I'm seeing here. We just don't have enough pieces, not yet. And I think we do need to do a bit more legwork to figure out more connections, because what we have right now is good, it's interesting, but right now what we have is also a lot of it's a lot of supposed, it's a lot of what ifs, it's a lot of hypotheticals, and we can't, and like, you can't run a story based on hypotheticals.
Okay, says Victor, and he grabs the pin that he got from Shadow. Do we want to put this on like here so we can just see what Bucky looked like?
Sure.
Or do we want to put it on in a public place so it might attract, well, not necessarily wanted attention, but it might interest people who didn't, well, words, what do you use them for? You know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, I think putting it on here might do a bit better. So that I can take a picture of it and then show it to that lady over in the train station and be like, hey, so that dude we had you looking for? Like, yeah, this is what he looks like. Do you remember anything about him? So on and so forth.
Darla.
Darla.
You want to go back to Darla?
She was nice. She was pretty nice. She's a nice lady.
Mm-hmm. She looked like she thought you were nice too.
She was like a million years old. Sorry, that's not true.
Yeah, but like Tuscan understands that.
The hair that was like this.
Hello.
She just sounds like the what's her face?
Roz from whatchamacallit.
So
no.
Oh yeah, from Monsters Inc. You mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Fran
David, you want to take the picture?
Sure. Yeah.
So Tusk, you or me?
Hell no.
Flip a coin. Oh well, I guess it's Victor then.
Okay, then Victor will slap it on.
All right, let me.
How do you pin something to glass? Is this...
I pin it to my motor suit. Duh.
Yeah. And what you get is
You turn into Manhattan.
you turn into Ben Hen. No, this guy.
Oh,
I used
alright.
this person doesn't exist.com, where they just make AI created people and went around. Let's see, can I drop it in here?
Oh, that
Nope.
is spooky.
Yeah, that person doesn't exist at all. And so the person you get
Wow.
is like it's just AI created person. Isn't it fascinating? I love this person doesn't exist.com.
Yep.
They don't support me or anything, just so you know,
Yeah.
people on the internet.
That
But I
is
do like to use them for just like rando
crazy.
images.
I like it and also don't.
Yeah.
That's
Like
crazy.
the uncanny valley here, like this person does not exist. He's not real,
This
and
person
yet,
does not exist.
yeah. But the internet does it for like, it's incredible. Anyway, yeah, I'll put up the picture somewhere, like in. Oh, I'll put it in
Okay.
the like the little thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You'll get it soon. But yeah, black hair, probably Central American, um, uh, smile, a little bit of stubble, but like a little heavier, but like super unassuming, right? Like that's the thing. It wasn't like Bucky was, uh, your clothes changed to be kind of this, just like blue button-up shirt tucked into a pair of jeans. You got a pair of loafers on. The whole look is supposed to be rather innocuous. It's not like he chose someone who was like super attractive
Tom
or
Cruise.
yeah, right. Or even like the whole point was to just sort of just be a person that could be ignored. And so that's where that's this person.
So I think David is gonna take take that picture, and he's gonna look at the picture, look at the glamour, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna remember that face. It's too forgettable." You know what I mean? It looks like my face. If you lost me in the crowd, would you be able to find me? No. Yes. No. Maybe.
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 I think all
See-
humans look alike
see-
to
see-
Tuscan,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
You see what I'm getting
That-
at, though? See what I'm getting at? This even for a regular dude like me, this guy looks too normal.
Yeah, but too normal would stand out.
No, I mean, I suppose he looks normal enough, which is
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, everyone looks alike to me. Like some people look more masculine, some people look more feminine. Meh.
We need to figure out the name that he used with this glamour, because I can bet I bet you $1. Like if I take this picture and go over to Darla at the train station, she's not gonna tell me this guy's name because she won't remember because he looks too common.
It's
Either $1 or coffee. I don't know, whichever. Baltimore is good coffee, right?
no. I mean, it's got fine coffee. It's not like the coffee capital of the world or nothing.
No, it's
but
not. Coffee capital of the world is somewhere else. It's probably somewhere in South America because that's to get the most coffee beans from. Whatever.
yeah.
don't say that in Sweden. We're very particular about the coffee.
Yes, that is good. No, that's not Sweden. I don't know.
No,
what
that's
anyway.
Germany.
Das ist was. Was ist das?
Was is
That's basically my German.
So while this is going on, Tuskin does want to at least try to message Lumiere in private as well and say very simply, P is on my tail, which sounds really weird, but the P is just the letter P.
I get it.
I said it was like, wait, what?
The I mean, I actually think that when and so you get a buzz back that's like concerned question mark.
Not yet.
Okay.
And then damn it, because Tuskin doesn't know how to work phones, so he will not use emojis.
Mm-hmm.
That would just be perfect. he will message Owl Nose.
Hmm. And then how much?
Uh, uh, um, knows he's looking um has me covered for now.
Hmm. And then like in exchange for question mark.
Question mark.
And then like what do you have to give him for coverage? Question mark.
I think Tuskin will message back knowledge question mark because he
Mm.
doesn't really know. It's not like Owl spelled out to Tuskin, I need you to do this, which is how his work for the
Mhm.
mafia has always been thus far.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like I understand what Owl wants. I don't know whether Tuskin does.
Let's see. The comes back. You know. Keep me informed. We will. Um. We will. Handle it as it comes. Swing all information or vet all information with Victor and David.
Will try. He spells out everything. He does not abbreviate will because that looks weird and he doesn't understand.
It does look weird. The word "will" looks like in type is like just like it's like three lines. I hate it.
Yeah, especially if you have I will and then abbreviate. Like
Blah,
owl.
barf. No, but look at this. Like yesterday, I did this, and I tried to spell the word "ill." Look at the word "ill." It's just like three lines. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it with all of my heart. Ill
Anyway,
should ill should only be spelled like a yell from now on. Ill. Anyway, go ahead.
Are you?
Sorry, I got
Are you?
this.
Yeah.
Are you
Or
sick? No,
or
no.
you will or you can spell it with a Y, so it's YLL.
There you go. Like I'm eeling. Fair enough. That's how I'm doing it from now on.
It's a yell without the e. The e is silent. Just
Eel, eel.
Eel.
Ah.
so Tuskin will go to David and Victor and say, Lumiere said that I should tell you everything. So
That's not what he said, but that's okay. That's what you
no,
understood.
he said to vent it to them.
No, vet.
Vet.
Maybe Yorin just doesn't understand.
So
No,
before you give any, so vetting means before you give any information, he wants to like get before you give any information, vet all information you're going to be as shareable or not shareable.
Yeah, no, Tuscan will still interpret it as I did.
Okay, fair enough.
because Tuscan is a himbo.
Tuscan is very much a himbo, yeah. And he needs help desperately. He needs smart people to think along in this situation, and he
So I
tried
guess,
to he tried to be subtle, and then he was too subtle, and David did not understand.
So I guess Victor is the one brain cell that Tuscan and David share.
We are not great. We're going to feel everything. Anyway, Tuscan will go over to David and Victor and say, Lumiere told me to tell you guys everything. So,
Everything
basically,
about what?
well, did you notice that I came out of the restaurant a little later than you guys did?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course we did. That means feathers back then must have something on you, right?
Ooh, definitely do not call him feathers to his face.
Yeah, that's why I'm not calling him to his face. He's not here, is he?
No, no, makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, he does. Um, so Victor, I think I told you before, but before I was in Baltimore, I was in the UK, and I had to leave there because basically some sort of assassin is on my trail. Not really an assassin. He's more of a one of those church people that just decided that I cannot be, that I cannot exist.
With no life.
Yeah, basically, and he's in town, and Owl knows, and Owl so far has kept his beak shut about where I am.
Well, let's just hope he continues doing that, I guess, because is this gonna be a problem? Is this guy gonna like hunt you down and try to murder you
I tried
while we're
before.
out there and we're doing our thing?
He tried before, hasn't managed yet.
Can you continue making sure that he doesn't manage to murder you?
I don't know.
I
What does
think
this
I
person look like?
Yeah, that's a
The-
good question. I have no clue.
Okay.
He is a shapeshifter.
Oh,
I mean,
Ah.
you know that in his natural form, he looks like he's so you know that he's a puka,
Yeah, he
right?
looks like a weird bunny monster
Right.
thing.
In his most humanoid form, he looks like a human, like ripped human, like very muscly, um, very, a warrior of the crusade, as it were, of that sort of thing,
Deus Vult,
and
Deus Vult,
has
Deus Vult.
and has two big bunny ears,
Yep.
um, that come out of the sides, but can actually, um, and like soft fuzz all over their body. Um, and but that traditionally pukas can also shapeshift into um, um, like horses, rabbits, things like that. Actual animals, but at in his like natural form, he is a slightly fur covered human with big bunny ears, and yes, pretty much just a ripped Easter bunny. I don't know if anyone's seen Levels of or Rise of the Guardians, that movie with
Hugh Jackman is the Easter Bunny.
if Hugh Jackman as the Easter Bunny. Very similar vibes. Um,
I love that movie. Yeah, so he could look anywhere between a buff bunny and a horse, or something that resembles a human but with bunny ears or hare ears, or I don't know, rabbit.
You know, I thought I'd seen everything. I suppose I'll just have to continue with these doubts for now.
Yeah, main thing I am worried about is that Owl does not keep his beak shut if we do not feed that beak regularly.
Yeah, well, I mean, we literally just got done with whatever that was. Um, we can only stand to gain more information from here on. So, I think we need to pin down what we need to do next, and that might just be waiting for that phone call from that person that Victor's gonna call Victor regarding the whole like the ID thing. There's also the park in the city that he took a picture of that one postcard. You know, kind of want to find that place and figure out what was the significance of that whole shindig. Anything else you can think of that we can do right now in the city? Because otherwise, we might have to make a trip to Iowa.
For a trip to Iowa, but maybe we can check out the park here first.
Sure.
Sounds good to me. Park it is. Patterson Park, wasn't it?
Shall we
Patterson
wait
Park.
until it's dark?
Do we really want to wait until it's dark?
Do we really want to go out with me and Victor in the daylight?
Well, Victor looks like a normal dude right now.
Oh yeah, Victor does look like a normal
Right.
dude
I
right now.
Well,
forgot
a
about
really tall, mysterious dude.
Well, no,
Because letters and yes, but I'm still tall and shaped.
right, but the glamour right now is it actually it makes you appear a little shorter.
Tall and
It makes
shaped.
you appear. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, I'm wearing a glamour now. Never mind.
yeah. No, you right. If you take the button off, then you're totally. Then you would be back to being your oddly shaped, tall bicycle or motorcyclist man. But right now, you look like a a 30-something uh, guy who's a little like who doesn't look like he's gonna do nothing. Yep. So
I suppose we wait until
um,
dark then.
okay. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break here then, and then we're gonna go to where we to the dark to the park. After waiting for park. Nope.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
Parking is hard, yes.
Farkas. Scott Farkas.
What?
BRB screen is up. 5 minutes starts now.
Okay. You don't know. Wait, there's that thing. All right,
No.
you guys, you take your break. I think is it an American thing, Scott Farkas? All right, never mind. I'll figure it out. I'll show you.
I'm taking notes for the session as always, and I almost wrote down. But Tuskin opens up about his problems with the Easter Bunny.
I will be back. Bio break.
So when do we start again? Uh, it was unusually quiet already. What? The guy likes to talk. And I know someone else who usually does that, but she's ill.
Yep. My voice is not too bad, so that's nice.
Yes, yes, it's way better than yesterday.
Almost a non-smoker again. I went from smoking 1 pack of cigarettes a day to half a pack of cigarettes a day to the post party, like to party smoking, and then the day after.
Yeah, party smoking and the day after. Blah, 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 blah. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, we're
Which
we're
is kind of
talking
what my
about Yurine's voice.
yeah.
You're in it. Oh man, I wish. I'm glad to get. I'm glad to hearing it's getting better. Like that's awesome. That's the goal is feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny if you had played this game and it was like, hello,
That
hello.
is legit. Like
I
I
am Tuscan.
I am Tuscan the Bruised. Rah 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 rah. All right. Oh shit.
Well, Ben has ruined his voice for the remainder of this session.
I've quit. I'm out. Hello.
Yay.
Goodbye.
that's kind of what my voice sounded like on Thursday evening.
Mm.
Was really rough and gruff. It's like, yes, I do need at some point I need a what's it, a soundboard, just so I
Oh.
can turn on and off extra bass in my voice and gruffness.
A little extra bass.
A little extra
Hello.
bass.
It's all about that bass, that bass.
I
I-
cannot do more bass right now because it tickles my throat and that makes me cough and that hurts.
Oh no.
Mm,
So don't pro tip, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Okay, let's get back to the game.
I'm ready.
Ding.
Bring us back, my dudes.
Yes, we are back. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello. Um.
To the third and final part of
To the
today's session.
Yes, chapter 3, part 1. No. Nope.
No, chapter
Nope.
1, part 3.3.
Chapter 1, part 3.3. Yes. All right. So you guys decide to head over to Patterson Park based on what you've got. Patterson Park is there are lots of parks in Baltimore, actually. But Patterson Park in some ways is one, while not the first large like protected public park in
Baltimore.
In Baltimore, thank you. It is one of the nicest. It was established in 1827 by a guy named William Patterson. Lots of open fields, lots of large trees. It has a small monument established because it was the site of the Battle of Baltimore in 1812, when the British tried to make it into Baltimore, and they were summarily repulsed by American soldiers, etc. And actually is one of and so Patterson Park does have its fair share of ghosts, but they're mostly like they're not malicious ghosts. They're just some spirits that float around from the um, by the of the like 1812 war. There are occasionally a number of ghosts that come out, especially around. You actually just passed the peak ghost time, or I think you're about to be at. No, you're about to hit the peak ghost time, which is no, you just passed it, which is September 13th. Around then, so you guys are like, which is the anniversary of the battle. So there was a lot of ghost stuff in Patterson Park over the last few days, but it tends to wane right about now. Um, the the biggest landmark in Patterson Park is a 60-foot observation tower that is designed in the style of a Japanese pagoda.
Ooh.
Mm.
Um, and
Cool.
yeah, and so that was built right at the turn of the 20th century, and it is a like a city landmark, and but yeah, it's designed as a lookout tower, etc., etc. Just a thing. Charles Latrobe, the architect behind it, was like super obsessed with Asian architecture and did a lot of like co-opting about it in his designs. But so that's where this is designed. But that is what you have. Um, um, but I
Definitely
would.
recommend people looking this up because it looks super cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I've only gone up a couple times. Well, no, I've gone out to Baltimore a ton of times because I don't live far. But I've only been in Patterson Park a handful of times. Um, but during Christmas, they decorate it. Like they hang lights from it, and that's actually super dope.
And there's also
Uh,
cherry trees around it, so
yeah,
there's
yeah,
cherry blossom season there as well.
yeah. We're in peak. We're actually we just passed peak cherry blossom city or season here in general. We always do it. There's cherry blossoms all over DC, and there's like there's something called the cherry blossom path. And so we always are like, when are the cherry blossoms going to come out so we can watch all of them and walk around? And I'm like, I'm not walking around with strangers. I don't even like. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Cherry blossoms are lovely. Come to my city. Look around the cherry blossoms. Huzzah! Um, yeah. So what you gonna do? Um,
I need to go and pull up that freaking the thing again.
the Snuffles PDF.
Yep. All the
Mm.
way in our chat history. There it is.
You can
Every
also
day I'm snuffling.
Wow.
Boop 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 boop.
You can
Where
also
is-
scroll up in the Twitch chat because it's also in
Yep,
there.
that is exactly what I did.
Oh, that's what you did. Okay.
I'm thinking of building a Discord for this, and then just keeping everything linked there. But I don't know.
So we're looking for a specific place in Patterson Park
Yeah.
that is overlooking like some sort of weird greenhouse type thing. Oh no, sorry, not a greenhouse. It looks kind of like a White House with an attached greenhouse
No, I
and like a
think it is a
park
greenhouse.
sort
I
of thing.
think it is a
And a topiary or something. I don't know.
yeah, but for plants.
Does that
You
say
have
good?
you have tropical greenhouses in certain parks as a
Conservatory. That's the word you're looking
Yeah.
for.
There we go. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the So it was looking at some sort of this postcard was taken in front of some sort of conservatory with like a park next to it, and then
Mhm.
and then they drew that weird symbol over it, which is even weirder.
Mhm.
I don't know. Something about that symbol seems off to me. Like, why would they draw it? Why would it be shaped like that? And more importantly, what's the person? What is the significance of the person inside the triangle? Is it just a random dude, or is there something else? Who knows? We don't know. That's what we're here to find out.
a map.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a map,
Doot, doot.
Maybe.
but that makes no sense because usually when you are at a spot and you open a map, the side that is facing you is the place where you are. And if it is a map, then I would expect one of the points of either the triangle or the. I say, what's the
nonagon.
word? Yeah, the nonagon to be at the bottom, but it's not. So that's a little weird. Anyway, and maybe it's a map. Do we have a map of Baltimore, Ben?
I mean, I can drop one into the thing. Yes.
Can I do some sort of research on this? Like
Yes.
skill roll?
Yeah. You can give me a research roll. There's a research roll.
That's a 5.
Okay, so with a 5, sorry. Oh gosh, I'm having a hard time with this. With a 5, you know that there was that, and you just type in, Patterson Park, etc., and do stuff. That particular card, a particular postcard, came from 1881. And there was, in fact, a Patterson Park Conservatory in Patterson Park, but it was demolished in 1948. And so there is, in fact, no more conservatory. The area has been sort of reclaimed for, um, green area, etc., etc. But that it was sort of there. But like the area that it was, like the general location of where it is. As for that's what you were looking for, right? You weren't look. That was what you were doing the research on.
Well, well, they were suggesting that the structure was a map, or a representation of the map, and what I wanted to research was, hey, is there correlation, and is there a possibility, and if there is correlation, what would correlate to what?
Oh, like an overlay of the actual city of Baltimore and the symbol. That doesn't hit you. It's not something that you like. You will need, maybe, to answer your question. There may be there, but you don't. That symbol isn't popping up in anything that you have, and I would argue that like you don't, without a singular point of reference. Like it's impossible to tell. Um, in general, in that one, that symbol does not, to you, ping anything.
Okay.
But through general Patterson, like even if you were to overlay it over Patterson Park, you don't have a scale to help you out there.
Okay.
Without those grounding minutes.
So after a bit of looking, Victor will say, "Oh, I'm coming up blank. Maybe it's a map, maybe it's not. Who knows of what."
Well, did you find out where the conservatory was?
I didn't find out anything, right?
You found out that the conservatory doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah, that part. Well, it doesn't appear to exist anymore.
Okay.
For
it
some
was
reason.
It was just demolished in 1958.
Yeah, they demolished it like over 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But if they demolished it, then you know where it was, right? So we can go to the place of the photograph.
So I will point out where it was.
Yeah, and there's and there is a community garden in sort of the. Hold on, let me get my directions down. I need direction. Nope, that's not what I want. There are. Hold on, I'm just in sort of the. I need a compass. There is in sort of the northeasterly area. of the park. In one of the top corners, there is a community area.
That was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would know.
I thought you were going to say more. Sorry.
No, you know where it is.
Yeah.
As I said, you know where it
So let's go that way then.
is. Mm-hmm.
So somewhere up north.
Yeah, and it's just a community garden. Like you could easily sort of go there.
So what do we see when we get there?
Okay, so you guys wait until nighttime, and you go down there, and it is, it is a lovely park.
Is the glamour still active?
Your glamour is still active. Yep. And, oh yeah. Your glamour seems to be going strong. Like not even a flicker. This is a really good glamour, just so you know. Usually most glamours have short bursts, and it sort of fades almost like a picture over time. Like it gets a little more like sepia toned and washed out without a recharge. But yours is totally fine. And the you sort of you get to this park. It's it's your traditional community park. It's September, so it's getting, but it's still early September, so there is that. It's still relatively, you get there just after the sun starts to go down. There's still some people around, people taking walks, maybe an errant baseball game, or the pagoda is in fact really lit up. You can see it from where you are, if because it stands very tall, and it's probably you could directly cut right across the park and just walk over to it, the observatory. They're both in the sort of same area. But this community garden, it's well taken care of. It's well planned. There are a lot of trees and vegetable boxes that the people who work within it can get, squashes and I don't know, other fall vegetables that are there's that transition from, we've done a bunch of berries and now we're getting ready to plant a bunch of stuff for the winter. And so it looks like a year-round sort of thing. But it's not particularly why don't you guys all give me, what is it, notices rolls? Yeah, give me some notice rolls.
We're rolling dice.
Yeah, give me some notice rolls.
Notice rolls. Okay, we're gonna roll for notice.
Notice rolls. Roll for notice. Hey, my dudes, what's up?
We're gonna roll for notice. Somewhere in Queensmouth, notices eyebrow twitches.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
11.
11. 5.
4.
4. Okay. 11. End of 4. All right. So, what I'll say is, like, again, it's not, so you don't see, wait, sorry, everyone say what they got again. A 4, an 11, and a what?
5.
You're gonna have a 5.
5. All right. So everyone passed. So, it is quiet. You don't, at first you sort of don't see anybody around. You don't see anybody. Nothing seems out of the ordinary as you walk through these neatly designed these neatly designed rows and plant boxes and stuff. All sort of seems as it should be. And then sort of all of you, um, it's just fleeting, I think. You, um, there is a person that you notice, a person um, doing that sort of traditional long, beige trench coat and large hat that Tuscan also seems to um, sport, sort of cutting across the grass away from you guys. Um, and it's hard to tell with a 4 and a 5 if whatever this person, if they noticed you and then they left, or if they're just cutting across the grass. They're not taking the set out path. That's what I'll say. Is that they're obviously cutting across the big strips of green that are there, um, and uh, with an 11. Who got the 11 again? That was you, right, Victor?
Yes.
Okay. So with a raise, um, interestingly enough, you sort of realize two things, and you had you used your GPS to get to Patterson Park or whatnot, and you remember like looking at the map. One, this person will probably cross close to the observatory on your way out, and two, when you think of the map and whatnot, the of Baltimore and the road that is, you know, what you call it, Patterson Park is surrounded by four roads. Right, it's an almost square road park. There's Patterson that is on one side. There's Baltimore at the top of it. There's Linwood on the opposite side. You guys are very close to the Patterson side, and then along the bottom there is Eastern. Right, you have those are the four roads that sort of surround it. But there are a lot of other roads that dead end in the park, and then pick up on the other side. And the road that this person is that dead ends that this person or is heading towards, like um, that would be directly um, like if they exited, the one that they could directly reach would be East Lombard Street, which you remember is at 33 East Lombard Street is where the body of Bucky Snuffles was found incoherent.
Okay, so we are close to where he was found,
You're about a
or because I hear you describing a lot. I'm not sure what I'm noticing other than the others.
well, no. So they see the person leaving. You know what they're cutting across and the road that they would, if they walk out of the park,
Yeah.
the road they would wind out on. And as for um, like how close you are, you're about 2 miles from where, like 1.5 miles from where Bucky was found. It's about a 15-minute walk, like quick 15-minute walk. But that is not. But that's where that sort of person would come out on, if that makes any sense. That road is where they're the road and direction where they're heading. That's where they're leaving the park.
Let's see if we can follow them. I if I remember correctly, that the where they're heading is towards where Bucky was found originally. Um,
Yeah, it's about that direction, I guess.
yeah, but it's also like if you go that direction, that's where you would finally leave the park.
If they leave the park, that is. I mean, it's
It's
a
getting
person.
dark. Most people are leaving the park.
It's a person in a trench coat. Like, see that every day?
Yes, because I wear a trench coat most of the days.
And so do you,
Fair.
and so do you, Tusk.
Yeah.
So they could be someone suspicious, and we might need to follow them because we don't know what we don't know.
Well, what if I do that and you both of you do the smart stuff and look around over here? And because I bet that there is, like, this place was important for some reason.
Mm,
Let's
Sounds like a
split the
plan.
party. That's a great plan.
Sounds like a
Yes.
plan, I guess.
Especially because I
Split.
have quite high stealth. And there is a madman on the loose that is trying to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, whatever
This is
shall we
fine.
do?
Everything
Are
is
you
fine.
are you splitting the? So you're gonna
Yes.
you're gonna follow the person who is that, and the two of you are gonna go look around the area some more.
I think that is the plan. That is at least the plan that Tuscan proposed. I will be. I will message. I will try to message you in 10 minutes. It might be 15 minutes because of phone. If I do not message, come and find me.
Okay.
Okay. Make me a stealth roll.
Oh hell yeah! Finally get to roll something else than a D4 and a D6. I get to roll a D8 and a D6.
Then they're double ones. Bam.
Well, it might be.
Don't forget about your bennies.
I am going to spend a Benny because you cursed me. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Nice.
Yeah, 1 and a 2. That's what you get for being giant.
Better, but I still don't like it. And we are in our last hour, so I'm going to spend another Benny. Well, that's the best, I guess. But that at least is a success.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
Okay. Okay. So with a 5, yeah, it is, you know, you're giant, right? You're like really tall. Like you keep I think that's sort of like the best you've got is how tall you are. But you're also remarkably light on your feet, and you have spent your whole life knowing how to um uh, uh blend in with the shadows, um etc. And so Victor's assumption, or what Victor's thought, it turns out to be right. This person leaves the park, crosses the street, heads on East Lombard Street, and heads in the direction of the of where Bucky was found. And as I said, it's about a mile and a half. It's about but he's moving at a good clip, and you pass um, a lot of different things. Um, you're passing restaurants, you're passing other smaller um, parks. You, yep, but you cross a bridge over Jones Falls. Um, and um, after an amount of time, oh my gosh, you do in fact, the expectations were correct, and you get to that corner. Um, and it's been a straight shot. Like the easy thing about this person is not exactly like ducking and weaving. They're just walking by that street, and I need you to. But there is some moment, like right as you get there, right as you cross like South Calvert Street, and you, which is like the block before that corner, um, there's like a flurry of traffic. Like there's like a bus that comes in front of you, or a rather large truck, and I need you to make a notice roll at minus
Jeez.
6.
-6.
Yeah. Oh, don't yell at me. That was so
Sorry.
loud. That was so loud.
Sorry, yeah, I heard it echoing a couple times. Sorry. Um, 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 what do the PowerPoints do again? Oh
That
no,
helps. That's for your
that's for magic
magic.
stuff. Damn it. I just want to. Okay. I'm going to try and roll. I still have 1 penny left.
Nice.
God. -6.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible.
It's not one. It's not impossible. Two,
I
blowing up.
I will. I have to play action cards before this roll, right?
Yes.
I have not rolled
Okay.
yet.
Yes. So I have an action card that gives all characters +2 to rolls for this round.
Mhm.
Oh.
And I think I I will use it for that.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
Great.
Hoping you roll well.
How do you think that helps? Like, how do you think your, because isn't the name of that card like inspiration or
It
something?
it is, yes.
So how do you think you or like let's talk about this. How do you think the thought of Victor inspires Tuscan?
I think Tusk has seen Victor work at times. I mean there are times, most of the times, Tusk will get bored very quickly, but I think thinking of Victor and how he notices certain patterns, and how things connect.
Mhm.
I think trying to uh, look like that, um, I think that will help. I think that will help Tusk a bit.
Okay. What do you think? You agree with that?
Yeah, I was thinking something similar, seeing like that they had a conversation or something in the past, and it's just words of wisdom. Wisdom is questionable, but words of wisdom from Victor, uh, coming back to Tuskin in his head.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally love that. Actually, is that idea of like I'm gonna give you a Benny, although we're almost out of time. But like I'm gonna like I love that. It's just like, and I think you kind of like do a Victor move. Like, what would Victor do? What does Victor look like when Victor is like? What is his body language out like? Um,
Gonna re-roll that just
you
in
know what I
case
mean? Like, wouldn't
it
that be
not
funny?
pass.
Don't forget, you also get to roll an extra +6 d6. Add d6 after your roll.
What?
He gave you a d6, an
Oh,
extra
he gave
d6.
him an extra. I thought he gave me a +2.
Oh, right, a +2. Sorry, not an extra d6.
So it's
Inspiration
now a
different.
-4. But I got a -1 on that roll, so I decided not to take it.
No.
Well, I got a 1.
Oh no. Um.
That's about the
Yeah.
best that I can do it without exploding.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, and he rolls away, and with your notice, he just like he's gone. You don't like this guy wasn't exactly going out of his way to like duck or weave. It was a pretty much straight beeline, and all this traffic comes around and just and like it's like one of those movie things where it's like the car goes by and then he's like gone, and that's what you have there. So what, uh, and there's the corner that he was on. Um, and
Oh,
you realize in fact this is the corner probably where that you're at the corner where the body was found.
Tuskin will message the group chat saying, followed guy to the corner, um, lost him.
Yeah. And interestingly, as you finish texting, you sort of look up, and there is a um, what's that word I'm thinking of? Like a plaque, like a metal plaque built into, like at historical heritage sites. They're like on this spot in blah 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 blah. Like in metal plaques, right?
Or first stone laid by.
Yeah. Um, what you see here built into the wall of the building is hold on. On this date in October, October 7th, 1849, Edgar Allan Poe's was found. Body was
Oh,
found.
oh,
Um, I don't know how much you guys know about Edgar Allan Poe, but this is where he disappeared for several days, and when he was refound, right before he died, they found him incoherent. This is outside of the game, but this is the spot. This corner is the spot where he was found.
Would David know this as a
Uh,
part of being like slightly informed about literature?
I mean,
Well,
Slightly.
well, I would think that when David would be at that corner and read that,
yes,
Oh right, David's not
that
there.
would send his thoughts spiraling.
yeah. I mean,
If
oh,
Tuskin notices that, he can just say, "Some Poe guy was found here too?" Question mark, and maybe that tips
like
DJ or
pick,
maybe that ticks David off, because I bet that David does know that Edgar Allan Poe used to live in Baltimore
yeah, Edgar Allan. I
or
mean,
used to reside there.
yeah, I mean Baltimore. The reason Baltimore's football team is called the Ravens is because Edgar Allan Poe is right.
All
He's
makes
Yeah,
buried.
sense now.
I just realized that, and I wanted to ask that.
Yeah, no, like he's buried in Baltimore. Like all the things. Like there's a lot of stuff that like Baltimore is Edgar Allan Poe's town. Anyway, there you go. Um,
And
uh,
still, Tuskin is just very much illiterate
yeah,
and just
you're
says,
just like
"Some
stare.
Poe guy."
Yep, some Poe guy, and I mean, like and so yeah, David, you can, if you want to give me a common knowledge, or I can fill you in on what happened.
Okay,
Uh,
sure. I'll do that
just
role.
like, and you can do the same thing, Victor. You can give me a roll of like how much you know
Oh,
about
that exploded.
Edgar Allan Poe.
11.
11, nice.
9.
9. All right, so you both get raises. Here's what
Uh,
you know.
the dice love exploding today. I
I
like
know
that.
you've had some. Yeah, it's been awesome. So here's what you need to know about Edgar Allan, like the death of Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe was, um, he left Richmond, Virginia by train, um, and on September 27th, and he was on his way to New York. And when he was found a week later, he was found in this like delirious um uh, this delirious state. He was dressed in clothes that weren't his. Like they weren't uh like he looked haggard, his hair was unkempt, he was unwashed, his eyes were described as lusterless and vacant. His clothing was dirty, but he didn't have like his normal he was a very snappy dresser, Edgar Allan Poe. Um and so like he was wearing like worn down shoes. He was wearing an old straw hat. So like he lots of people believe that he was not wearing his own clothes. Like that was like it was out of character for him to dress like that, and like nothing fit. He was um, um, uh, he was never um, coherent enough. Um, he was never coherent enough after being found on October 3rd to tell people what had happened during that week he was missing. Um, and he ends up dying 4 days later in a hospital. Um, and with the last of his words being, "Lord, help my poor soul." That was the thing. There have been 1 million theories and conspiracies on what happened during that time. Some people think that he had been kidnapped by uh, and with a raise, you guys sort of know all of this. Some people think that it was rabies. Some people think that it was like syphilis, and he had like um, a diseased moment. Some people think it was like murder. Some people think that originally lots of people thought that it was like alcohol or whatever. Um, but that's like been not true. And then finally, like the thing, like one of the other things that some people believe is that he was a victim of a thing called cooping, which is a form of of election fraud, where you kidnap people off the street, and you make them vote in various different places in like for the same person you want, and you like are constantly changing their outfit. It's called the cooping, right? Like, so you like kidnap Manhattan, and then you make him wear a fake beard and stoop over, and I vote for DJ, and then DJ's gang takes me somewhere else and shaves my beard and gives me glasses and puts me back there, and then I vote again. And so that's sort of like there are lots of people who think that happened, but like all that we know for certain is that, and all you guys know without like really going into the even with like these raises, is that Edgar Allan Poe was found delirious on this corner 172 years ago, on October 3rd, in a state very similar to what happened with um, Bucky Snuffles. And Bucky Snuffles, that after disappearing for a week, and what's his face disappeared for a couple days after his journal, and was found at this corner as well. And at 10:55, I think that's where we're gonna call it for now. Woo woo!
Nice.
Yay! I was gonna ask more questions, but I guess I can save them for the next one.
I mean, we can, but like,
Nah, next
you
one.
know,
Next one's fine.
I think that can be a nice way to start next session.
yep,
To get into it.
yep.
Yeah.
So, thanks. All right, so because we're gonna take some time, let's take a minute and why don't you guys thank you for everyone. Tell people where they can find you.
Yoreen, go first.
Okay, apparently I go first. Yeah, so you can, well, as I said at the beginning of the stream, you can find me as part of the Applied Materials podcast, as well as Bolt Crew RPG podcast. And you can find me on Twitter as at JORIENHATTINK. So that is my name, Jorien Hattink. But it's a Dutch name, so it's hard to spell.
That's fair.
Next.
You can find me at DJ Atomica Plays on Twitch, DJ Atomica Plays, and Applied Materials on Twitter. Am I missing anything? No, yeah, that's it. DJ Atomica Plays on Twitch and Twitter, and also Applied Mats on Twitter as well.
Nice.
Yes, so I've been Rene. You can find me at Quarian_NL on Twitter. And on some podcasts.
Yay! And I'm Ben Hatton, and you can find me at the Twitter of this game, which is called hold on.
At Game Novus on
At
Twitter.
Game Novus. That's what it's called. At Game Novus. You can also send me, if you want to, send me an email, which is really the best way to ever communicate with me if you want to. You can send an email to, let's see, it's called libernovusgame@gmail if you have any questions or stuff. I think, hopefully, by the next time we have a game, there will be both a YouTube channel for the archive of these videos and maybe a Discord for all of the documents that I'm making that have here, so
Ooh.
people can start digging in. But we'll see. It's the AP test is coming up, and April's gonna be weird. All right. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping
Thank
by.
you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.